What's up, core reporters? Welcome back to my channel. Listen, it's time for another recap of the Ultimatum, and we need to talk about why Trey is absolutely terrible. You guys already know from episode one's recap that I can't stand Lisa. I think she's got a screw loose. I think she's an abuser. But now Trey, wow, like he really truly disappointed me, and we're gonna get into why during this recap. So at the very top of the episode, we pick back up, I should say, with Lisa after she assaulted Brian. They're screaming at each other outside of the venue, and he calls her actions lame. And then I'm just wondering why she even signed up for this show. Like, she knew the premise of it. She watched season one and still wanted to do it, but she acts all outraged and shocked Pikachu that it's exactly the same thing that she signed up to do. Like, she calls Raya that Hooters bitch who's easy and ready to give Brian some ASS. And I'm like, oh my God, like all Raya did was have a conversation with Brian and hit it off, which is what is supposed to happen at this stage in the game. They're supposed to be choosing someone that they feel compatible with. And it just so happens that Raya and Brian have a connection. Like, come on now. And so she's like, I could get it if you were into Roxanne. Like, she's a boss ass bitch. Like, she's about her business. You could learn things from her. But Raya, basically she just talks down about Raya because all she is like, a waitress in her opinion, which I feel like is very degrading and very mean. And I'm sorry, but even though Roxanne has like a business and stuff, she's very one-dimensional, as I covered in episode one, in her attraction for Alex. There's nothing dynamic about her attraction for Alex. All she likes about him is that he once owned a business. So to me, it kind of feels more like Lisa is only upset that Brian found someone that he genuinely like kind of has a spark for, and she feels threatened that it could lead to him leaving her at the end of the experience. So at this point, they both say that they break up with each other. She wants her keys back to her house. And then as she's walking away with the producers and stuff, she's like, F marriage, F the ultimatum, and F you. So I was like, okay, like this is really disappointing. At first, I liked Lisa. I loved when she realized that she was leap years ahead of Brian, And so I really thought she was going to like feel empowered by the end of this and being like, let me talk to men who are ready and in that place so I can get in vibration with those types of guys for my next relationship. I never saw things turning out this way. Like, she made herself come off as very crazy, jealous, misogynistic, and violent, all within the span of one episode and a quarter of the next, like 1 1/10, I should even say. Like, it's just not a good look. And again, she's like a VP for a big company. I would be embarrassed, to be honest with you, if I were Lisa and this is the way I behaved on television. Now, let's go to Alex. Remember, Alex is the guy that Roxanne has a crush on and everything because he wants to own a business. And I gotta say, it seems very much reciprocal. Like, he seems in love with Roxanne and says that he wants to get married. And I'm like, whoa, like here you are with your girlfriend, your wonderful, beautiful girlfriend, Kat, who seems perfect for you, like on the outside looking in. She wants to get married and you're acting like you don't want to. And then here you are, you meet this girl named Roxanne, and within like a couple of hours, you're talking about how you do want to get married. Man, I really hope that Kat runs for the hills if things don't change up, because it feels like he is wasting her time. Oh, Lord. So I will say, though, that in Roxanne and Alex's defense, like, I know that I said that, like, she pretty much is only attracted to him because he once owned a business and claims to have sold it. But as they talk a little bit more about her attraction towards him, I'm like, okay, like I see some of the other things that interest her in Alex that were not explained before. So for example, Alex talks about how he wants to be a provider in his family. And I think that that's a very attractive quality that, like, unfortunately you don't see as much anymore. And it's like, it's both the attitude of men and it's the economy as well. So it's really difficult to be in that place. And so it's nice that he's still there. And he also talks about wanting to invest. So he's really forward thinking, right? And like financially savvy. And like he sounds like a grown man. Whereas her current guy, Roxanne's current guy, Antonio, he kind of comes across more boyish. I haven't heard him talk about his ambitions or anything like that. But even in his demeanor, his haircut, like everything about him just looks more boyish than Alex. I think Roxanne might be like someone who's more attracted to like manliness, you know what I mean? And very masculine energy that doesn't exactly radiate from Antonio. Now, Let's get into Raya. Okay. So Raya has been hitting things off with a guy. So, of course, she had that initial spark with Brian, but there's another guy that she is really vibing with in the house. And his name is actually, drum roll, please, James. This one kind of took me by surprise at first. Like looking at them, they couldn't be like any more opposite. And I don't mean racially, I mean vibes. Like she's a glam girl. Like she just looks like $1 million. You know what I mean? And James comes across very like small town, like country boy. So I never would have like pictured them vibing, but they really connected off the fact that they were both raised by single mothers and they felt kind of like their childhoods were difficult and stuff like that. And James likes that. She opens up about her own life and she's like emotionally deep, whereas he feels as though his girl is not deep, his girl Ryan. And so I was like, wow, look at that. But here's the thing. Although Raya is not attracted, but like into James, I don't know if she's physically attracted or not, but they have a connection and chemistry. She's still stuck on Brian, the guy that just got mushed in the face by his girl Lisa over his connection with Raya, right? And to be honest with you guys, I don't know. I don't really get the vibe that Raya is into white guys. So I kind of feel like she might overlook James for that reason. This is just a hunch. She very well could be, but I've just got that feeling watching them communicate. Okay. Now, they actually even held hands in this scene. Like he was opening up to her about something, and so he wanted to hold her hand. And I was like, oh my God, they're so cute. So that kind of happened there. Now, I do have to wonder though, because later we get another scene of Raya and Brian talking, and I'm like, what is Brian even doing there, right? Like, didn't he and Lisa just like break up and everything? Like, what is the point of the two of them still being there? But then I was like, oh, maybe producers are being messy. And I'm like, imagine at the end of this, Brian and Raya, like they work out so hardcore. Like he proposes to her within just like what, a couple of weeks of knowing her or months or whatever. Like that would have been kind of like wild, you know what I mean? But who knows how that is going to go. We'll get to it by the end of the episode. So he asks Raya how she feels about sharing finances and whatnot. And Raya talks about expecting the man to kind of pay the rent or the mortgage or whatever it is. And then for her to pay like the little bills, utilities and stuff like that. And then Brian asks her if she would step up if her man went through hard times. And she said, yes. I'm sorry, y'all, but these questions would turn me off in some way. I don't know. It just gives struggle love. And I'm not really down for struggle love, to be honest with you. So I don't know. I just, something about his mentality screams like, I want a woman to like pull to do like financial effort and then like emotional effort, like everything. You know, those relationships where it's 50-50 financially, but then the woman takes the lion's share of all the other stuff. It feels like that's what he's going for, just from my first impression of him. So I don't know what makes her attracted to this. Sorry, but I no, I'm just not vibing with it. Now, we'll see how that turns out. So she did open up to him about something very, very devastating in her life, which is that she was pregnant and I believe she miscarried 2 years ago. She said that she didn't hear a heartbeat. So I'm assuming she miscarried. And so she was traumatized by that. And so that made her question whether or not she would be able to like go through that again, you know, have like get pregnant and like just worry that that would happen again, which is totally understandable and very scary and very sad. Now, she does tell him as well that there's something missing in her relationship with Trey. And I'm like, girl, you know damn well what that thing is. And it is romance. You guys already talked about this a lot in episode 1. But yeah, I think that that's what's missing for her. And so why not, girl? Like, if you feel like you haven't been getting that for 2 years, like call it a day. You've been talking about it. Nothing's changed. Call it a day. Now, this is where we get into how trifling Trey is. Look at how nice he looks with Raya, okay? They look like $1 million couple, beautiful, skin's glowing, perfectly clear, big, beautiful eyes, big, beautiful lips, just looking like they got a lot of money. Like they look like a good-looking couple, right? And mind you, Lisa had just been attacking her boyfriend physically and like just screaming at him and stuff. And he even attract Trey's beauty. She even attacked, sorry guys, Trey's beautiful longtime live-in girlfriend Raya in front of everybody, calling her the Hooters bitch. And then like she said a lot of nasty things about her. So Trey has a sit down with Lisa. So in my head, I was like, yes, go avenge your woman. That woman that you've been fighting to marry, Trey, avenge her. Tell Lisa she was out of line. She better apologize to your woman, all that stuff. But he does nothing of the sort, you guys. Like, he literally did nothing to defend Raya's honor after the way that Lisa treated her. Like, Lisa even told Trey that she was rude to Raya in her face. Like, when Raya was doing what she was supposed to do, which is having a conversation with Brian, right? And it was just so weird because he was like, whatever, you know? And then, like, they have a conversation, they have their own date. And at the end, they talk about how much they love their dates together and like no other dates compare. Then they have this long hug. And I'm like, Trey, I could see why Raya does not want to marry your trifling ass. You are just so weak. I'm sorry, but no, I could not stand for a man like this who does not defend me. You better fight tooth and nail for me. You know, he's not like the Pauly D. Do you guys remember that Pauly D clip that was like going viral of him like beating down that door so his girlfriend Nikki could like pour wine on Angelina after Angelina poured wine on her and, you know, went off running? That is not Trey. Trey would be like, you know what? Let me pour the remainder of this. You deserve it, baby. I'm sorry. I don't want to do this. You know, like, ick. Ick. He gave me the instant ick with that. I feel like he's got low self-esteem. And anytime someone tells him he's even remotely attractive, he's like, oh, me? Remotely attractive? Oh, wow. You know, and he doesn't know how to act and he just forgets like everything. Like, not a vibe. So he says that like now that he's in this experiment and everything, he's like thinking more about his relationship with Raya and wondering if he's just trying to like force something that is not meant to be. And he says that he feels like he has a lot more in common with the other women on this show because apparently all Raya talks about is hair and makeup. Like the way he just dragged this girl. I'm sorry, Raya. Like, what is this? First of all, I don't believe that all Raya wants to talk about is hair and makeup. I don't believe that he would stay 2 years for that. You know, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like maybe he tunes out other things and only retains hair and makeup and overrepresents how often she talks about it. Like, what? I don't know. I just didn't like it. Like, you know what he even does, you guys? He goes ahead and calls Lisa right after she gets through with dragging his woman. He's like, Lisa, I want to tell you something. For me, this is me like leaning back. For me, you're the ideal woman. Wow, Raya, I don't know how this ends for the two of them, like if they like get engaged this or the other, but I hope that upon watching this, if they are still together, she packs up her bags and leave because it could not be me. You're calling my attacker, the girl who called me an easy hoochie mama, ready to lay it low and spread it wide, calling me a Hooters whore. You're telling her that she is the ideal woman. I'm on the floor. I am on the floor. And then he calls Lisa gorgeous and stunning. I'm like, not you being romantic when the whole reason you're here is because you haven't been romantic in 2 years to your girlfriend. Wow, I'm sorry. Like I said, he's easy. I think he's got low self esteem. And all Lisa had to do is show him a little bit of attention, tell him that he is remotely attractive. And I'm not saying that he's remotely attractive, but all she said was like, oh, you got the, like, she just said it in passing. She wasn't like, wow, like, you're so handsome. Like, it was just like this, like, thing, you know, an offhanded comment that he really hung on to. You know, maybe that's what he was thirsting for. Maybe Trey doesn't feel like he gets enough, like, validation from Raya, perhaps. And that's why he's so, like, excited to have received like a crumb of it from Lisa. I don't know. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I do suspect that perhaps Lisa is pulling a Black China on Trey and Raya, which means for the non-celebrity gossip buffs, the non-celebrity gossip historians, remember Black China had just a kid. Black China had Tiger's Poom Poom. They had a kid. They were engaged. And then he leaves her for Kylie's Poom Poom. It's that song from TikTok. And so Black China, she waited in the wings. And then she preyed on Kylie's brother, half brother, had a kid by him, got engaged. Boom. Ultimate checkmate, right? So that's why I think Lisa might be playing with Trey to get back at Raya for having a connection with Brian. She's like, you know what? This is psychological warfare. We're going to fight fire with fire. I don't see this being a genuine connection, to be honest with you. Now, we find out that trifling Trey is torn between Lisa and Ryan. And by the way, why are you attracted to a woman that you just saw commit domestic violence? Like, if I were in a room with a bunch of like options of guys that I have to spend like time living with or whatever, I would not go for the one that I just saw physically assault his girlfriend. I'd be like, not really into violence, so that's not for me. But like, you know what I mean? Like that was just really weird to me, but I digress. And it happened in front of everybody. Like everybody was like, whoa. So anyway, he says that he is torn between Lisa and Ryan. Ryan is the Southern girl from the high school sweetheart couple that's super duper young. And so he goes on another date with Ryan just to like see where his head is at. And they talk about how she doesn't really express her emotions, which is the crux of her relationship issues with James. Now, later on, it's decision time. All the couples go to the table, and Nick Lachey announces that the volatile couple, Lisa and Brian, are not going to be joining the couples at the table. And he's like, they had the opportunity to explain to you that they're leaving, but they decided to decline. And I'm like, I wonder why. And then Nick Lachey says, Lisa took a pregnancy test and the results came back positive. Dun, 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 dun. Is it from that little event that we saw them do? Remember, like the first night there, we saw them doing the horizontal mambo before she woke up, like freaking out about how she wants to like leave there. I'm like, oh damn, not them making a baby on TV, you know? But yeah, I guess now they got to figure out if they want to stick in this situation because they've got a kid perhaps on the way. I don't know. The whole thing was really, really crazy to me, but I don't know. What did you think, guys, about episode 2? Are you of the same belief? Like, were you as stunned as I was when you saw how disloyal Trey was to Raya there? But here's the thing. Raya in episode 1, she already fell in love with Brian anyway. So, like, it kind of feels like they're both lukewarm about each other and going with emotions. And Trey just wants to be married, like, in theory. And, like, he would go for anybody, basically. But yeah, you know, Raya was very disloyal anyway. But here's the thing. Trey's the one who's trying to get married. So if you're trying to get married to someone, why are you so easy? Like, why do you flip the switch like this so easily? And why are you not protective over them? It's just weird to me. I really didn't like that. But I digress. Let me know all of your thoughts and opinions about the Ultimatums season 2, episode 2 in the comment section down below. And as usual, we'll chat. That's all for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.